Kingston, as the home fans hope they can get their beloved Jamaica over the line. A win needed by the host nation here tonight. Beautiful conditions in Kingston for this all-important affair in Group B, as we take a look at the standings after 5 games gone. And it was Curaçao leapfrogging Jamaica into top spot in the group last Thursday with a 7-0 thrashing of Bermuda. Jamaica gave up a late equalizing goal away to Trinidad and Tobago, which means here tonight, it's pole position for the Blue Wave, the visitors Curaçao, a draw enough for them to secure their first ever World Cup berth and become the smallest nation in history to do so as well. Jamaica, following that late equalizer on the road in Trinidad and Tobago, will need to find victory here tonight to punch their ticket straight through to next summer's World Cup in North America, hoping, of course, to return for the second time to the greatest tournament in the world, following their 1998 run to France. It's not necessarily do or die this evening, although it could be. We will keep you informed throughout the night as to what is going on in the other matches happening simultaneously in Group A and Group C, as the top 2 runners-up in the group phase will move on to the Interconfederation playoff. There is a little bit of danger, especially for Jamaica, should they lose here tonight, of dropping into that third and final runners-up position and thus dropping out of the competition entirely. Both of these nations have a huge goal difference in their back pocket for that runners-up scenario, but they are dreaming of top spot in the group. A winner tonight to the World Cup. His final few nervy moments in the tunnel. An evening that every one of these players will have been dreaming of since they were youngsters. Opportunity to make oneself a national hero. As you'd expect, not an empty seat in the house tonight at the National Stadium.
Please stand, if you can, for the national anthem of Curaçao, followed by the national anthem of Jamaica.
So listen in to the national anthem of Curaçao. tension, anxiety, and of course, that dash of hope in the atmosphere tonight in Jamaica for supporters of both the home nation and their visitors, Curaçao. As we saw, a sizable traveling contingent making their 700-mile or so trip up to the northwest here from Curaçao. As these players will have that final huddle to pump themselves up ahead of one of the biggest nights, if not the biggest night of their respective careers. These two Mets back on match day 3. A 2-0 victory for Curaçao. We'll get to the starting lineups here on this crucial evening, and we begin with the hosts, Jamaica, as it's been 3 changes named to the side that drew 1-1 away to Trinidad and Tobago last Thursday. Andre Blake maintains his captain's armband in goal, with Greg Lee, Ethan Pinnock, and Richard King healthy enough to return after an early exit along the back line. In returns, Dexter Lembikisa dropping Mason Holgate to the bench, Isaac Hayden and Ian Frey into the lineup as well. Ronaldo Cephas, Bobby Reed, Damari Gray, and up top, a return to the starting 11 for Shamar Nicholson, as John Russell and Ramon Burrell join Mason Holgate in dropping to the bench. Yvonne Barton from El Salvador. First official, Taylor Herrera, is the 4th as the officiating crew, mostly from El Salvador, matchup with the captains for Jamaica and Curaçao. Andre Blake nearing the top 10 in appearances for Jamaica and wearing the armbands again here tonight. VAR booth is an American affair with Alan Chapman alongside Katarina Koroleva. Meanwhile, for the visitors, they are without their coach. Dick Advocat unfortunately had to return to the Netherlands for a reported family issue, and in his stead comes Dean Goré, the assistant manager. Here's the starting 11 for the Blue Wave. Just one change from their 7-0 demolition away to Bermuda last Thursday. In comes Jurgen Locadia to replace Gervain Castanier. Of course, in moments to reflect upon that tragedy in the not so distant past. Hurricane Melissa rocking the west side of Jamaica, and Prime Minister Andrew Holness told Jamaica to rally behind the team as a symbol of unity, pride, and resilience. That is what they're looking for this evening. Must be said, Curaçao made donations during the week to students in Montego Bay, as well as those efforts for recovery are still ongoing. It certainly will be on the minds of many of the fans in yellow here tonight. A whirlwind journey towards the World Cup in 2026 in North America. Kickoff in Kingston. Dreams come true tonight. Will they be for Jamaica, or will they be for Curaçao? The hosts, of course, in the famous yellow with the green and black trim, needing a victory to usurp their visitors, the Blue Wave of Curaçao, into top spot as first place in the group books a ticket tonight to the greatest competition of them all, the World Cup next summer in the United States Mexico and Canada. And Jamaica look long down the center for Shamar Nicholson. Early touch for Aloy Rue. Calms down the back line after the crowd was eager for something to get them excited, keep them excited, I should say. Fabulous atmosphere inside the 30,000 capacity Cedar Stadium here, National Stadium in Kingston. Jamaica again working their way into the attacking half. A slip ball inside from Ronaldo Cephas looking for Bobby Reed, didn't quite arrive. It's back to Room. Just a closer look at his first touch. Hooks it long. Foul spotted by the center official Ivan Barton. Free kick picked up by Juninho Bacuna. Shoving the back from Ian Frey. One of the 3 changes to the starting 11 for Jamaica from their 1-1 draw away to Trinidad and Tobago last Thursday that dropped points late on in the night. The 85th minute, they conceded to Kevin Molino, which dropped them down to second in the standings. Had they held on to the victory away in Port of Spain, it would be a draw good enough for Jamaica to advance here tonight. Following that last gasp equalizer for Trinidad and Tobago, of course, not enough to keep them alive heading into the final night. It means Jamaica will have to drive the game here this evening. Curaçao knowing a draw enough to send them through. It's a long throw, hurled towards the near post. Still not quite cleared. An opportunity now for Sonji Hansen, who does get out of the penalty area for the Blue Wave of Curaçao. Stepping forward, Dexter Lembikisa. Keeping it alive for Jamaica, only momentarily, as it'll trickle over the end line for a goal kick. Those 3 changes for Jamaica. See Mason Holgate, John Russell, and Ramon Burrell drop to the bench. That man, Steve McLaren, bringing back into the side Dexter Lembikisa, who started every other match in the round aside from the draw away to Trinidad and Tobago last Thursday. Ian Frey into midfield. And Shamar Nicholson leading the line tonight for the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. Quick double change of possession means it's back with Sharani Sambo, and here come Curaçao into the area for the first time. Hansen trying to cut it back towards Jürgen Locadia. Enough in yellow back there to deal with the danger for Jamaica. Last off, the Curaçao captain, Leandro Bacuna. Be a throw-in for Jamaica. Never really settled on a lineup during this round of qualifying, the 3rd round of qualifying in Concacaf, did Steve McLaren. Last window saw 5 changes for the first game, 6 changes, then 4 changes for the Trinidad and Tobago match on Thursday, to just the 3 tonight, as perhaps it's just about settling on the first 11. Of course, some key names missing for Jamaica here this evening. Most notably, Leon Bailey, still recuperating from an injury. I would love to have his services as he tries to get back for Roma. Daniel Antonio, of course, still trying to work his way back to full fitness as well. Now we get a look at the assistant coach, Dean Gorey, and he is in charge on the touchline this evening because of the unfortunate news over the weekend. Dick Advocat, 78-year-old manager, having to depart ahead of this all-important final match of the group. Curaçao able to clear from the long throw, as it appears Jamaica will be happy to chuck it in the area from those throw-in opportunities on this communication. As the chip pass over the top, quite match an anticipated run from Cephas. Dick Advocaat will be watching. Back in the Netherlands, reportedly a family issue which made him depart camp on Saturday. Steve McLaren saying all of Jamaica's wishes are with him and his family. Certainly ours are as well. If they are able to find their way through to the World Cup either tonight or via the Interconfederation playoff, Curaçao would make Dick Advocaat the oldest ever coach at a World Cup tournament. Just past 2 a.m. in the Netherlands. Expects he's not the only one up and watching this Curaçao side with heavy Dutch connections. Foul by Sambo. Straight through the back of Reinaldo Cephas. Did well to get himself in between man and ball. Sambo thought he went around, got ball only, but you could see, as the referee did, knee through the back of Reinaldo Cephas, who is the only Jamaican player to start all 10 matches of qualifying, both the second and third rounds in Concacaf. Lofted up in his direction, Sambo underneath, heads it back away from his goal. Hansen completing the clearance, out of play for a throw. As here are the live standings in Group B. Still scoreless here in Kingston, which means it's still Curaçao on top, still Curaçao through to the World Cup next summer. Jamaica need that victory. Trinidad and Tobago coming up just short, 6 points coming into this final match day, 4 points behind Jamaica, and thus eliminated. They had to win last Thursday, couldn't quite get past their bogey team in the region. Really, Jamaica unbeaten in World Cup qualifying away in Trinidad and Tobago in their history. 4 wins and 2 draws. They would have loved to have made it 5 wins. Just wrapping up that Group B picture, Trinidad and Tobago hosting Bermuda. Both of those nations' final World Cup qualifiers for this cycle. They'll have to focus on the trip to 2030. Lovely take on the shoulder from Damari Gray. Spinning back and clipped was Lembekisa. Late in the challenge was the son of the assistant manager, Kenji Gore. Kept you up to date on the live standings in Group B. We will be keeping you up to date on the goings-on in the other groups tonight as well. Strong to win 50-50 in the center of the park. So too strong is Jurgen Locadia as he holds it up for the Blue Wave. Reinforcements arriving in the form of Sambo. Sambo eyes up into the area. Well, that's an ambitious attempt from Juninho Bacuna. But he had the confidence to take it on, and he should be full of confidence. A man-of-the-match performance in that 7-0 demolition away to Bermuda last Thursday. He scored the second, and it was a stunner. If you haven't seen it, golazo for Juninho Bacuna, the younger Bacuna brother, both maintaining their starting positions as you'd expect here tonight after both being on the score sheet on Thursday. And there Bacuna with the first half chance for the visitors. Gray making a profit on a slip from Armando Obispo. Holding it up for a few more yellow, green, and black shirts to arrive. One of those is Richard King. Back to Gray. Trying to sneak it along that inside right channel, but toe in from the Blue Wave, able to just repel that danger. Comenencia pressing. Jamaica. Oh, start things along the back line. Too tall, looking for Lembikisa. It will be a throw-in to Curaçao. Mentioned Jamaica making the 3 changes from last Thursday to this evening's starting lineup. Just one for Curaçao, happy to just about maintain the team sheet after that walk in the park in Bermuda last Thursday. We'll be hoping they don't have to make an early change to the team here in the 12th minute. Juninho Bacuna down. Is that one lone change? Is a man wearing the same number as the player he replaced, Jurgen Locadia, into the fray this evening to replace Gervain Castanier. Bacuna holding that right bicep. Curaçao hoping the magic spray is enough to keep him on the park. Mentioned the coaching staff and the enforced changes tonight because of Dick Advocat's family issues back in the Netherlands. Did say that he would be keeping in close contact with his coaching staff. Perhaps something for the brain trust of the Blue Wave to ponder now. Will Juninho Bacuna be able to continue for Curaçao? Throwing for the visitors. A dozen minutes gone by. Bit tentative of a start here. The foul spotted by the near side assistant will lead to the free kick for Curaçao, and McLaren already off on a bit of a pacey walk. He did say that he and Advocat are two managers with vast experience, both on the international and club scene. And in his minds, McLaren, they can only do so much tonight in terms of tactics, in terms of naming the starters. He said it all comes down to 11 players against 11 players. McLaren said that they must play the game of their lives tonight. Did well to point out they're not only playing for their nation, the opportunity to represent Jamaica at the World Cup, but getting to the World Cup could change any or all of these players' lives. With that brightest of windows, biggest of opportunities to show what you're made of. And he's hoping his side will take advantage of that opportunity here tonight. Richard King looks bemused. Juninho Bacuna back on the pitch and back in the battles. Free kick drawn. A promising position for the Blue Wave. Well, not much in it. A finger to the eye as King had his hands outstretched. Bacuna made the most of it. Referee spotted the contact to the face. And this is a potent position for a free kick for Curaçao. Andre Blake, the captain, arranges his defensive line. They're holding it a few yards from the top of the 18. Over the dead ball for the visitors, the captain, Leandro Bacuna. Two hands up from Bacuna. Bacuna goes for a goal. Easy one. Andre Blake to his left. Gathering confidently, the Jamaican captain. First shot on target here for visitors tonight. Quarter of an hour gone, still scoreless in Kingston. Mentions the other matches happening simultaneously. There is a goal in Trinidad. That's not a noteworthy goal, but there is a noteworthy goal elsewhere. Group C. With the first twists of the drama here tonight in the final evening in Concacaf group stage qualifying. Blake, crowd a little bit worried. The ball was bobbling, gets it long. Nicholson has a shot that ricochets. Room there to make a save. Aloy Room denies Bobby Reed. The Jamaican fans thought they might have had a fortuitous bounce in their direction here tonight. Nicholson let fly from range, came off the defender, then off Reed, and right into his path. A massive chance for Jamaica to open the scoring and retake top spot in the group. Comanesia spotted Sambo, couldn't get it to his feet. Jamaica couldn't clear. Sambo wins it back. Still not clear for Jamaica. Hansen, clever cutback. Too clever in the end. Sambo called for the foul. Perhaps Sanji Hansen was a little too unselfish there inside the area for Curaçao. Went for the cutback pass in the direction of Juninho Bacuna. That's a glorious sliding block challenge. Get it away from its intended recipients. One bounce of the ball went Jamaica's way up the other end of the pitch, and a minute later it was a ricochet that favored Curaçao. Juninho Bacuna taking it away into the area, and it's a recovery challenge to save Jamaica. Well, Locadia wanted the square pass. Here comes Gray. And Nicholson! Chances coming in quick succession. All of a sudden, the game has exploded into life. Nicholson wants a corner. Still, somehow, it's 0-0. First, the chance for Bacuna after he ripped it off the toes of Ethan Pinnock. Curaçao still thinking about that big opportunity up the other end when Nicholson all of a sudden was loose. No corner kick to come. Somehow both goalkeepers surviving intact. Hansen spins away from the pressure, back inside for Comanesia. There's space on the near side for Sherelle Floranis. King ambles over to clear. Body positioning spot on from Floranis to control that aerial duel. As we still have Curaçao on top of the group, Jamaica in seconds. The standings have changed a bit with Trinidad leading against Bermuda. Kenji Hore offside. And as you can see, feeling he had kept himself on. A little cliche. You can see along the line from that position, really shouldn't be getting caught in the offside standing. And his father looks on, wondering if if perhaps that was an opportunity squandered by Curaçao. And Bakisa, all he could do really was stretch to keep it in play. And now Floranis looking long towards Bacuna. Sombrero into the attack. Was he held up? He was. Free kick for Curaçao. Shaking the head from Pinnock, who didn't think it was a foul. Quickly from Leandro Bacuna, the layoff on the edge. That's a rocket, and well held by Blake. Quick fire from the restarts. And some inquisition being held along the Jamaican back line. Locadia stepping into that with some power behind it. Lovely layoff from Juninho Bacuna after his brother chipped it right from the sound of the whistle. Curaçao only needing a draw here tonight, but showing they will be dangerous when they're afforded space in the attack. Frey wins it away from Bacuna. Looking for the 1-2 with Lembikisa. It's too tall for Frey. That allows the recovery from Leandro Bacuna. Juninho couldn't quite get it towards Gorré the way he had intended, but the bounce of the ball, well read by the Curaçaoan. And they're quick to get started from the dead ball once more. Hansen looking to get to the byline. Well defended by Lembikisa. Picked up by Gorré. Bacuna. Back with Kenji Gorré. Good spell on the ball for the visitors. And a good pocket of space for Hansen into the area. Sliding block challenge made by King. Home fans starting to grow a bit weary as Curaçao just starting to get a stronger grip on proceedings here tonight. That'll help out as far as Jamaica are concerned. Lembikisa relieving the pressure. A bit overzealous from Gorré. But the coaching staff, the assistants, Dean Gorré, loving what he has been seeing from Curaçao over the past 5 minutes or so. I had mentioned a few minutes ago that we had the first meaningful goal of the night. Then there was a flurry of chances, 2 in each box, which didn't allow to actually explain what had happened. It was a goal for Haiti early on against Nicaragua. And that is of note. Of course, Haiti coming into the night in second place in Group C. Looking long now for Locadia, holding things up for Curaçao. Tried to find the layup for Hansen. That's wonderful defending and composure at the back from King. Sees a Curaçao midfielder drop to the turf as King gets Jamaica going into the attacking half. And that is a perfect example of what Steve McLaren said they were missing last Thursday when Richard King went off injured inside the opening half hour in Trinidad and Tobago. Wonderful bit of defending from the Jamaican center half. Once he was forced off in that opening half hour, McLaren said they really lost their ability to play the ball out of the back. Nicholson gives chase for Jamaica and helps to earn the first corner of the night. One hand in the sky from Bobby Reed. Swerves it onto the edge of the 6. Bacuna gets the touch away. There's a slip in the area. Jamaica win it back into traffic. Still not dealt with by Curaçao. Gray on the turn. Little step over. Now Reed 1-on-2, Reeds couldn't work his way through the double team. Sambo only able to put it into touch for a Jamaican throw in. Will they launch it long into the area once more? Greg Lee. Ball in hands. He'll look short for Frey. Inside for Cephas. Heavy first touch. Might work out well. A little flick over the top from King. Loose on the edge. Smashed. Out of play. Isaac Hayden running onto it. Set up nicely for him. On the bounce. Quite inviting. Just never got the knee over the ball. What was underneath it was Hayden. Opportunity for a player from one of these nations to be a hero here tonight. Hayden perhaps looking for that chance. Off the ball. Down went Damari Gray. The pitch does have some chunky spots, as we've seen thus far. Non-contact injury. Jamaica, Damari Gray will be hoping he can continue on here. You saw it. Got stuck in the pitch. His footing, not much give, not enough give. And we've already seen the field conditions play a little bit of havoc on the bounce of the ball. Players will have to watch their footing as well. Just spoke about the opportunity for a moment of magic to go down in your nation's lore. Well, of course, there's the unfortunate opposite ends of that spectrum as well. Could it be a mistake or a moment of madness here tonight that will make the difference? Players will have to be extra wary of their footing. Approaching half an hour gone, still scoreless in Kingston. Jamaica need a goal. Curaçao happy if it ends like this. Back to Room. Groans from the crowds let you know there was a hint of fortune as that just about escapes the front line of Jamaican pressure. A missed kick from the Curaçao goalkeeper, and it's back again with the Reggae boys. Well, mentions that goal for Haiti takes them top of Group C at the moment. Honduras and Costa Rica still scoreless in San Jose, Costa Rica. The only group with still 3 teams alive, and they can all 3 finish top of the group, as Honduras were top spot, Haiti in second, Costa Rica 2 points behind the both of them heading into this final evening. And that first twist in the drama came from Haiti, who are playing in Willemstad, capital of Curaçao. Coincidentally enough, Curaçao away from home here tonight, but there may still be a World Cup celebration back in Willemstad. Nicaragua already eliminated, and they trail to Haiti early on in that one. Still scoreless, Costa Rica and Honduras do have a goal in Group A as well, and it's a meaningful one, as Panama taking the lead over El Salvador. Suriname and Panama tied on 9 points. going into the final match this evening. Suriname having the goal difference advantage of 3 goals to the good, as Guatemala and El Salvador are already eliminated. Suriname on the road in Guatemala City, still scoreless there. Plenty of drama yet to unfold here tonight. And indeed, all across the region as Concacaf wraps up the regular phase, if you will, of World Cup qualifying. After tonight, 3 more teams will join the 39 already qualified for the World Cup. And there will be just 22 nations remaining, vying for those final 6 berths into next year's World Cup. Foul against Richard King. A free kick for Curaçao. This long, winding World Cup qualifying road began with 206 countries. After tonight, that'll be down to 64. And then, of course, reduced to that first ever 48 nation fields at the World Cup in North America. Curaçao will be delighted that the Jamaican crowd has really been taken out of it over the past 10 minutes or so. Slow pace at times in the match. There's that little bit of flurry from about the 15-minute mark. It's well worked now by the Blue Wave, and there's space for Bacuna to run into. He's just outside the area. Bacuna! Nobody closed down the ball. And the all-time caps leader for Curaçao was trying to further cement himself as a Curaçaoan legend there. Just nobody stopped the ball. Bacuna has the quality to test the goalkeeper even on his left foot from that distance. Assistant coach loves it. He wants his captain taking that shot on when nobody is in and around him just outside the 18. Free kick after the handball on Ian Frey. Big spot for the 23-year-olds from Miami. Just his 3rd cap in the crucial clash here this evening. Hansen. Not on the same wavelength as Jürgen Locadia. You have to wonder about the match fitness, the sharpness of the Curaçao number 9. Currently without a club, last played for Intercity in the 4th tier in Spain, but of course a name that many around the world of football will know from his time with PSV and Brighton. A couple critical injuries for Jamaica. They're also without Casey Palmer along with Bailey and Antonio. Curaçao missing Tahith Chong here this evening as it's chucked in from Pinnock. A long throw dealt with well by the Curaçao defense. Into the final 10 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. Bacuna for Jorge. Loose ball will fall to Bacuna. Can he get around Pinnock? He can. Dashing down the near sideline, Bacuna, but enough legs from Frey the dash in front, and he was aided by Damari Gray doing his diligent spec, tracking the Reggae boys. Foul spotted as Bakuna trying to get rounds the number 7 in yellow. Some plaudits well earned there by the attack-minded man. Getting back defensively for Jamaica. Curaçao had hoped Tahith Chong would be able to take part in this last window. But not able to fully recover in time to play a part. Long ball costed some consternation there. Rashawn Van Eijma wasn't quite sure what to do, was looking for guidance from his goalkeeper, and Ronaldo Cephas was never going to stop running. Pressure from the ever-presence in the Jamaican lineup during qualification, and he earns a corner kick for the hosts. Fray being watched by Comenencia. Referee wanted a word. Those two battling it out inside the Curaçao penalty area. Will be another in-swinger from Reed. Stack around the penalty spot in yellow. Into the area it goes. Header up and not clearing just Curaçao. Now they're able to clear the defensive area. Wayward pass from Lembi Kisa draws the groans from the crowds. Unable to maintain the pressure from the corner kick there, Jamaica. Good ball in from Reed. Even better defending at the near post from Curaçao. Superb ball smashed in the path of Flurry. Handball against Lembi Kisa. Free kick for Curaçao. Ball smashed on the half volley. It's sublime right into Flurry's run down the left. Awkward hop. Lembi Kisa didn't quite see it. And thus an opportunity for Curaçao to bring some numbers forward. Line held on the penalty spot. Juninho Bakuna whips it in for Curaçao. Up was Frey to get the header through the area to the far side. On the spin, Locadia's delivery. Met at the near post by Nicholson. Throw in for Curaçao. Hansen. Comenencia. Locadia. Step over to find Hansen, but a bit unlucky to see it ricochet off the ladder's heel. All the way back to Aloy Room. Controlled challenge, no foul there. Well done by Hayden to win it back for Jamaica. Tackling back was Bakuna. Put it out for the Jamaican throw-in. Into the final 5 minutes of normal time here at the end of the first half. From the long throw, Nicholson holds up well. Nicholson's first attempt blocks. Now he gets it through towards the near side. Charging in was Lembi Kisa, beaten to the ball, importantly for Curaçao. Corre, did he keep it in play? No. Throw in for Jamaica. The crowd wanting them to get going a bit sooner. Lembi Kisa perhaps Going to launch a long throw. No, he's looking short, finding Gray. Gray back from Lembikisa. Frey. Gray. Lembikisa stopped his run. Out for a goal kick. Crowd growing ever more anxious as we approach halftime in Kingston. As it stands, Jamaica would be dropping into the Inter-Confederation playoff. Not necessarily do or die this evening for these two nations, but it could be, especially for Jamaica, as each of these teams has a substantial lead in goal difference on the teams from the other groups. And that will serve them well if indeed there's a tie in those runners-up positions. But the nightmare scenario for Jamaica here this evening is a loss to Curaçao, with wins by Honduras and Haiti, as well as wins by Suriname and Panama. That is the ultimate nightmare scenario for Jamaica, in which they would finish on 10 points. All those teams would be above them, and their World Cup dreams would crash out here in Kingston this evening. It would take a stunning goal fest, really, to knock Curaçao out this evening. As Jamaica getting in for the long throw. That's a dangerous one. Curaçao scrambling and able to just about clear their lines. The most dangerous of the long throw attempts so far from the host nation. Frey lofting it forward for Nicholson. Room chesting it down to take a few extra seconds off the clock. Already prayers going up. And everybody living and dying with each kick of the ball here tonight. Wonderful work from our crew. As we approach halftime in Kingston, Jamaica. 0-0 still between Jamaica and Curaçao. Cephas called for the foul. Sambo was backpedaling, falling, and still managed to get his head to the ball. Room pushing his side up the park as we're into those final 90 seconds of regular time before stoppage time at the end of the half. Pinnock winning the aerial. Nearly slipped through for Nicholson, as that's an important interception from Obispo. Still Curaçao on top of the Group B standings. Correa gets past his marker, not past the seconds, as King able to come on the cover and get the block challenge in. Trinidad and Tobago still lead by a 0-0 over Bermuda, which is why they are sitting on 9 points in third. Being told there will be just a single minute of additional time here at the end of the first half. Long throw this time from Curaçao into the area. Hooked clearance from Reeds. Jamaica try and step out from the box. Curaçao keeping the pressure on. Fluranis on the overlap. Frey. It's been all over the pitch. Managed to win it back, but couldn't keep it in play. And there it is, confirmation of that solitary minute of added time. We're into extra time at the end of the first half. Fluranis for Locadia. Aimless cross, good communication. Heard the keeper shout from Blake. He's hoping for a quick punt out for a counter, perhaps one final opportunity before halftime. He's just about ready to get the warning from the referee of ball in hands there, Blake, before he dropped it to the deck. And he's being pressured now. Jamaica not able to get up the park as quickly as the home fans would want. Lumping it, hopefully, for Nicholson. That comes off Gray. Final check of the watch from the referee. Halftime whistle rings out in Kingston, still scoreless, and that means it's still Curaçao through to the World Cup. 0-0 here in Jamaica. The host nation need a goal to usurp their visitors and book their passage through to World Cup 2026. We go to the break at the National Stadium with the score: Jamaica 0, Curaçao 0. Halftime in Kingston, still scoreless between Jamaica and Curaçao in this top of Group B clash. Not many clear-cut scoring opportunities in the first half. Free kick from Leandro Bacuna. An easy save for Andre Blake. Bounce of the ball has been a bit worrying on the pitch at times tonight, as this was the best chance of the first half for Jamaica. Ricochet into the path of Bobby Reed. Really the best chance of the match thus far. Offside flag went up. Looked like he was onside. And that goal, had he scored it, would have counted. Gray putting Nicholson in behind the back line as there was a furious, frenetic pace to the match from about minute 12 to minute 18 or so. Outside of that little window, rather tentative first half here between these two Caribbean nations. Curaçao getting their best opportunities through free kicks. That was quickly taken by Leandro Bacuna. Juninho, his brother, able to knock it down for the powerful hit by Jurgen Locadi. Ball was never fully cleared by Curaçao and set up invitingly for Isaac Hayden. Still scoreless at the break. Still a hopeful crowd in attendance here at the National Stadium as we take a look at the halftime statistics. Just 3 shots on target combined between the two teams. Possession in favor of the hosts, but they need a goal in the second half. Stick with us. We'll be right back. It's 0-0 at the break between Jamaica and Curaçao. Welcome back in. Halftime just about over here in Kingston. The National Stadium still full of hopeful Jamaican fans, but at the moment, it's Curaçaoan dreams coming true at the end of the evening. 0-0 between Jamaica and Curaçao in this top of Group B encounter, the final match day of the group stage of Concacaf World Cup Qualifiers. Jamaica need to win here tonight. A victory would see them leapfrog Curaçao into first in the standings when the dust settles on Group B. Second place in the group at the moment, still secure in their spots in the Interconfederation playoffs. But of course, both Jamaica and Curaçao will be hoping to avoid that fate. Don't want to leave it up to chance. The likes of Bolivia, Iraq, and especially Democratic Republic of the Congo lurking in that Interconfederation playoff to come next March. Plenty of action across the region here tonight on the final match day. In fact, the final match day of World Cup qualifying, the normal phase, if you will. After tonight, it's just the playoffs in both UEFA and the rest of the world. As it stands, Panama leading 2-0 over El Salvador. Jumping to top spot in Group A at the expense of Suriname. Held scoreless away to Guatemala City in the first half. Group C sees Haiti winning by 2-0 over Nicaragua. Jumping over Honduras in the top spot in Group C. It's 0-0 in Costa Rica between the Ticos and Honduras. Both of those countries crashing out of the World Cup at the moment. Away we go for the second half in Kingston. Still scoreless between Jamaica and Curaçao, with the host nation, Jamaica, needing a goal at the very minimum to avoid the playoff or potential elimination here tonight. A victory necessary for the Reggae Boys. The Blue Wave of Curaçao happy with things as it stands. 0-0 heading into the second half. And already the whistle blown by the center official, Ivan Barton. El Salvador center referee here tonight pointing for a Curaçao free kick. Not much in the way of clear-cut opportunities in that first half. Biggest chance fell to Bobby Reed on a ricocheted Shamar Nicholson long-range effort, and a big save from Aloy Room. We'll keep it at 0-0 into the break. No change for either side here at halftime. Of course, Steve McLaren. Charge Jamaica. This could be testing for Andre Blake. The curl of the ball was taking it away from the goalkeeper. He did well. Sliding in just ahead of Kenji Gore. As just mentions the head coach for Jamaica not making any changes. It's Kenji Gore's father, the assistant coach, deputizing as one of those leading the Curaçao outfit here tonight, along with the other assistants for the Curaçaoans. As head coach Dick Advocat unfortunately had to leave the camp on Saturday to return to the Netherlands and deal with a family issue. So take a look at those starting lineups. Still the same 22 out on the pitch. Nicholson gets to the byline, testing cross in, Room did well. Strong hands from the Curaçao goalkeeper. First meaningful action in the second half comes from the host nation. And Shamar Nicholson showing great close control to manufacture that half chance. A couple of dribbles at full speed to get himself away from potential Curaçaoan defender. Saw Steve McLaren there looking on. He had mentioned just before the Trinidad and Tobago match that he considers Shamar Nicholson the best striker in the region. Then Nicholson did not play away in Trinidad and Tobago, perhaps saving his full battery for this evening, as McLaren would have anticipated heading into these final 2 match days it would come down to tonight, as in fact he said he had told his assistant coaches on the day of the draw, once he saw Curaçao in the group and how the fixtures would shake out, that it would come down to this final evening of the group. Getting word that there has been another twist in the tail here tonight in Concacaf. A goal for Guatemala at home against Suriname. As Juninho Bacuna is caught late by Reed. Free kick for Curaçao. That just gives a bit more cushion to Panama as they look to solidify top spot in Group A. And Suriname, of course, part of the Dutch Caribbean contingent, dropping down into second in the group at the moment. And they will be scoreboard watching as well, as a change in the Costa Rica-Honduras scoreline could knock Suriname out of World Cup contention here tonight. Now from the free kick, work to the near side for Hansen. Hansen looking for the 1-2. Plenty in yellow there to intercept for Jamaica. Cephas didn't really get to stretch his legs in the first half as much as he would have wanted. Trying to do so there. Leads the team in minutes and assists in World Cup qualifiers for this cycle, Ronaldo Cephas. Frey dancing around one. Bullied over, illegally so in the eyes of the referee. Leandro Bacuna, the guilty party. Free kick for Jamaica. Covering the grounds here tonight, Ian Frey. Huge moment for him, being trusted by Steve McLaren. Start in the center of the park. He draws this meaningful looking free kick for the host nation. Reed slides it to his right. Poor ball in, and Curaçao have a break up the other end. Goalkeeper well off his line. Blake to the rescue. Sigh of relief, and perhaps a bit more from the fans here in the National Stadium. Big puff of the cheeks from one of those Jamaican supporters from their own free kick. A rather poor delivery into the area, and all of a sudden it was Curaçao streaking into the Jamaican half. Excellent reading of the situation from Andre Blake, just a few days shy of his 35th birthday, needing all of that experience as he nears the top 10 in terms of all-time appearance makers for the Jamaican national side. Still, it's Curaçao on top, Jamaica in second. Top spot through to the World Cup next summer. Second place, runners-up, in all likelihood, through to the Inter-Confederation playoff. That goal from Guatemala is a good goal update as far as Jamaican fans are concerned. That nightmare scenario that would see them knocked out of the playoff rounds, needing a Suriname victory over Guatemala. So perhaps a bit of relief on that side of the equation for Jamaica, but as Ethan Pinnock lines up the long throw, they're hoping for a goal. Chucked into the area by Pinnock. Header off the post. Greg Lee up over everybody. But he couldn't guide it home. And now here come Curaçao. Hansen. Heavy first touch. Frey sneaking in to get a touch away. And now there's no midfield as Bakuna takes over. Drag step into the shot, looking for a carbon copy of his fantastic goal away to Bermuda last Thursday, as we get a look at the near goal from Greg Lee. Such a marvelous leap. Timed it to perfection off that catapult throw from Ethan Pinnock. Maybe a bit of question, did his foot come up on the throw? Seems refs aren't really watching that these days in the long throw renaissance. Lee buoyed by that strike on the post. Cross in towards Lee, cutouts right at the last by Van Eijsma. This is better as far as the home fans are concerned. A bit of pressure coming from the Reggae boys. King has his eyes up and was dreaming of glory. Just pictured that flying into the top corner, didn't he? Looking to be that Jamaican hero here tonight. Goal scorer would etch his name into Jamaican folklore. Lemekisa. Nothing as far as a foul in the eyes of the referee, and perhaps a bit of revenge on the mind of Kenji Hore. Free kick for Jamaica. 10 minutes gone here in the second half of action. Still scoreless in Kingston. News of another goal as Room clutches to his chest. Guatemala lead 2-0 over Suriname. That bit more cushion for Jamaica, and to a lesser extent Suriname as far as elimination here this evening. It's 2-0 for Guatemala, 2-0 still for Panama, as at the moment the Canaleros are through back to the World Cup. Curaçao look long for the throw up towards Locadia. He's sandwiched by the two center halves in yellow. Kuna trying to keep it in the attacking half for Curaçao. As Frey able to outmuscle along the far sideline and earn the throw for Jamaica, who looks set to introduce the first change or changes of the match. Meanwhile, in Group C, still as we were at halftime, Haiti lead 2-0 over Nicaragua. Still scoreless in San Jose between the hosts Costa Rica and their visitors Honduras, and that means, as it stands, it is Haiti through, along with Curaçao and Panama. Jamaica, the top runners-up finisher, will be joined by Suriname in the Inter-Confederation playoffs, and Honduras and Costa Rica will be crashing out as it stands, but we still have a long way to go in the evening free kick for Jamaica. For that swipe across the face. They prepare Raheem Dixon. The Jamaican number 9 will enter the fray to replace Damari Gray. First change from either side here tonight. Sits Steve McLaren to his bench to bring on the Crawley Town man on loan from Charlton Athletic. Part of a decent Addicts contingent here with Jamaica. 3 players tied to Charlton. Involved in this last roster of the group stage for Jamaica. Chucked into the area, long from the throw of Sambo. Reed able to sidestep the challenge of Comanencia. Keep it along the near sideline for Cephas to do something with. Hassan looking to pounce on a loose ball, but Pinnock was strong, able to get it back to Blake under pressure. Loose ball picked up by Jamaica. Heavy touch though. Lee giving it away to Sambo. Sambo returning the favor with a heavy touch, but just about able to sneak in and get the telling touch away. As the referee goes to the pockets, and we should see the first booking of the night. Yellow card awaits Ian Frey after he gets a bit of a stretch. And a painful one for Sharani Sambo. He looks a bit woozy. As the Curaçao medical staff comes out to have a look at the right back. Part of this heavily Dutch-born contingent for Curaçao. 22 players in the squad. Born in the Netherlands. Had already been upping their recruitment drive when they brought Dick Advocaat in as head coach, and he's only amplified and increased recruitment for Curaçao. Their Curaçaoan diaspora, as there is the confirmation of the game's first yellow. Ian Frey saw the loose ball from the heavy touch of Sambo. It was inviting, but he couldn't get there in time to get contact on the ball, and had to receive a nice little stretch out from a teammate as well. Perhaps a little bit of cramp coming in for Frey, who is covering the grounds. So Sambo does not need to make way after the yellow card was shown. Curaçao into the area. It was Gore bearing down on the baseline. Cut out by Jamaica at the expense of a corner. First of the night for the Blue Wave. Visitors, Curaçao. Showed Lembakise a clean pair of heels there, did Kenji Hore. Change of pace to get to the byline. Over on the cover was King. And it's out for this Curaçaoan corner. Flat trajectory to the edge, looking for Bakuna. It's a wicked deflection. Both countries making their case. And it's out off the Curaçao block in the end. Goal kick for Jamaica. I was asking a lot of the captain. Full of confidence to take that on as it dropped from on high. We'll have a second substitution of the night for Jamaica. And Ian Frey, having just suffered that little bit of a knock, picked up a yellow card as well. Two factors you would think in the mind of the Jamaican coaching staff as they go to the bench to bring on John Russell. Did start away to Trinidad and Tobago last Thursday. He's got a couple of goals in his 6 starts in this World Cup qualifying campaign. John Russell. Cephas frustrated as the decision goes against him. Goal kick to come for Curaçao. Looking to become the smallest ever nation to qualify for a World Cup. Population of around 185,000. Current record is Iceland back in 2018, 350,000 population, the smallest country so far in the Men's World Cup. What a remarkable journey it has been for the Blue Wave. We've been a national team for just over 14 years after the dissolution of the Netherlands Antilles. 10 years ago, Curaçao were ranked 150 in the world. Now they've cut that in half just about. They're up to number 82 in the world rankings. It's been a fabulous meteoric rise. Just for comparison, we've seen a couple of debutantes punch their tickets through to the World Cup already. One of them, Cape Verde, they're right around 500,000 population, so still 2 times and more the size of population as Curaçao. Quickly in from the throw, in behind. Locadia smashes it low. That's a fine save from Blake. They've looked lively on the restart tonight, and he's been at the heart of things, the captain, Leandro Bakuna. Just like we saw in the first half from a quickly taken free kick, a chance falls to Jurgen Locadia, and he hit it true. Plenty of power in it. Blake had his positioning spot on and didn't give up a rebound either. As now Jamaica are arguing that should be a yellow card against Sambo for an intentional handball. The referee happy enough just to give the free kick. Goals starting to fly in elsewhere. Guatemala 3-0 up against Suriname now. Not going to plan for the other Dutch Caribbean side, still alive. Free kick for Reed, whipping it in, tasteful service. Defense up to the challenge for Curaçao. Van Aijma there to apply the final clearing touch. Pinnock, another long throw, loading. Catapulted into the edge of the 6. Rising above everyone was Van Aijma. Picked up by Dixon. Hopeful effort. Skies out of play. Goal kick for Curaçao, who you would think at this point will start to try and take each grain of sand out of the hourglass individually. Reed getting closer with his set-piece service. That was a testing one for the Blue Wave back line. As Curaçao are preparing their first substitution of the night. Jeremy Antonisi getting ready to check in, and it will be for that man who's hobbling a bit, Kenji Gore. Confirmation. Off goes the assistant coach's son, and on comes Jeremy Antonisi. Bit of pace available off the bench for Curaçao here tonight. Gore needing a bit of a helping hands to make his exit here this evening. So in steps Jeremy Antonisi. Applying his trade in Greece with Kifisia. Komanesia. He was the man that's sent Curaçao on their way to victory when these two sides met back on October the 10th in Willemstad. A fantastic early goal from Komanesia. Late on, they made it 2-0. As Gore capitalized on an assist from Locadia. And could that be the difference when the dust settles on Group B? Lembikisa dancing his way into the area, still with Lembikisa, low cross in. Into Feets, trying to work his way, and now Lembikisa up towards the back stick. Nicholson off the crossbar. John Russell, Lembikisa keeping the move alive. A thunderous header off the crossbar as Jamaica have found the woodwork twice in the second half. Still, here come the Reggae boys. Lembikisa's cross, and Curaçao cut it out. Into touch it goes. Shamar Nicholson rallies the crowd after he came so close to giving Jamaica the lead. Wonderful work from Lembikisa. And then how about the feet from Russell? Close quarters in the area, managed to return it to Lembikisa. And it's always an option to put it up for Nicholson to go and get it. He did exactly that. Coaching staff thought it might be in the back of the net. Here come Curaçao up the other end. Locadia sliding in. Brilliant challenge from Pinnock into the final 20 minutes. And it's starting to liven up a bit here. Perhaps the news from the other match, specifically Guatemala up 3-0 on Suriname, will mean Jamaica can really go for it here in the final 20 minutes plus stoppage time. Caution can be thrown to the winds, really. King delicately forward, too delicately in the end. Sambo rushing in to intercept for Curaçao. Held up by Locadia. Hansen takes over for the Blue Wave. Slipping it in behind. Chance! Buried! Curaçao lead! Or do they? The traveling supporters, the latest in the stadium to see it. They'll be looking to VAR just to make sure. Was Jeremy Antonisi offside? That's what the near side assistant saw in real time. We'll have a look. Hansen took over after the hold-up play from Locadia, and that's a fabulous in-time decision from the near side assistant, David Moran. Quick confirmation from VAR to cut off the Curaçaoan celebrations. Jamaican fans can breathe. The goal does not count. Still scoreless in Kingston. Antonesi just took off that split second early. Locadia has been short of game time, hasn't played since the last window for Curaçao. It's up for Room, who came out and misjudged entirely. Well, Russell is saying it came off one of those Curaçao players in the confusion. It's been given as a goal kick. A mistake from Aloy Room, the veteran goalkeeper for Curaçao. Mentioned Leandro Bacuna as the joint record appearance holder for the Blue Wave. He's there along with the 36-year-old keeper Room. Both surpassing Cuco Martina here tonight as they move on to 68 caps apiece. Now another mistake at the back. It's getting nervous for the Blue Wave back line. Nicholson causing problems. Heading into the final quarter of an hour all across the region. Another long throw hurled in by Jamaica. Russell up but couldn't get a telling touch on Tonesi. There to clear for Curaçao. Locadia giving a lone chase. And enough pace in the legs of Lembikisa to win it for Jamaica. They've stayed forward, have most of the men in yellow. The ball was tracing out of play before the foul. Will be a free kick for Curaçao, and just an opportunity to catch the breath a bit. Hasn't been end to end throughout, but certainly have been undulations in momentum, swinging from one end to the other, and a few flurries of action out on the pitch throughout the course of the night as well. There's a couple more Jamaican substitutes are being prepared to enter the match. Bouncing ball could be difficult to read. Hansen able to get underneath and win it away from Lee. Hansen charging to the edge of the box. No foul, but on the follow through, a chance, and Florana sees it tipped over the bar by Andre Blake. Sanji Hansen, who made his Curaçao debut in the first match against Jamaica of this qualifying rounds, really growing in stature in the Knights. His dribbling work sets up the shot, which leads to this corner kick. Taken short, Hansen cutting it, looking for Antonesi. Able to keep it in right along the end line was the Curaçaoan man. Antonesi keeps it alive now for Bacuna, his captain. Comanencia searching for support. He's been forced backward. All the way back to his goalkeeper Room. Jamaica will be happy with that bit of defending from the corner, as there's a late challenge in from Armando Obispo, and a free kick to come for Jamaica. With this stoppage in play, a couple more substitutions being brought on by Steve McLaren and the Jamaican coaching staff, as out-checked Dexter Lembikisa and Bobby Reed. In come Duan Richards and Bailey Tai Catamarteri. Attack-minded substitutions from the Jamaican coaching staff. They're going for it here in the final quarter of an hour, plus stoppage time. Immediately, those two newcomers insert themselves along the edge of the Curaçao box. As it's forward, knocked down, Russell takes a stab. They're asking for a deflection, the Jamaican players. And they're bemused as to why this hasn't been given as a corner. We'll have a second look, something not afforded to the refereeing. Did that come off Bacuna last? Certainly Jamaica thought it did. Not spotted by that man, Ivan Barton. And instead been given as a goal kick to the visitors. 4 changes now utilized by Jamaica. Curaçao having made just that lone substitution thus far. Well, that's come into the late match planning for the Curaçaoan coaching staff. Some time-wasting substitutions perhaps to come as they try and get this draw over the line. Bacuna forward for Obispo to win the header. Comenencia nodding it forward, but only into the gloves of Blake. He wants to get Jamaica going into the attack in a hurry. Underneath it was Leandro Bacuna. Dixon picks up the loose ball in the center circle. Still, the Group B standings have Curaçao on top. Cephas towards the byline. Touch too heavy. And it's out for a goal kick. As once again, Sambo gets the plaudits from his teammates along the back line. Been tasked with marking the main man for Jamaica during this World Cup qualifying process, and so far so good for Sharani Sambo and the rest of this Curaçaoan defense. We're heading towards the final 10 minutes of normal time. 10 minutes plus stoppage time for Jamaica to find a goal. 10 minutes plus stoppage time for Curaçao to hold on and book a ticket to the World Cup. A defensive move made by Curaçao as they make their second change of the night. Yuri Ngari in to replace Son Jihansen. Cephas fouled. Free kick to the Reggae boys. Line on the edge of the 18. Duffed towards the top of the box. It might work out well here for Jamaica. Ricocheted on the shot attempts. Half-hearted appeals for handball as Catamarteri was getting involved for the first time. Overhead clearance straight into the path of Locadia. He's going for goal from long range. That would have made headlines around the world. Instead, just a goal kick for Blake to get the ball back in. Jamaica running short on time now. As it stands, they're dropping down into the Interconfederation playoff rounds to come in March. Rumors that it was going to be held in Mexico were a bit spoiled as the Monterrey mayor had somewhat broke that news, and I believe it has been confirmed this week that indeed that Interconfederation playoff will be held in Guadalajara and Monterrey in Mexico next March. Already through is Bolivia representing South America, DR Congo representing Africa, Iraq representing Asia, and New Caledonia representing Oceania as coming together there. Sees a yellow card shown to both Antonisi and John Russell. First player booked for the visitors, second player booked for the hosts. Free kick for Jamaica. First to it was Comenencia in the blue of Curaçao. Now he challenges along the back of Pinnock. No foul. And possession given away by Jamaica as Pinnock is asking them what the referee was looking at that time round. So 4 of the 6 already confirmed in this busy final window of the regulation phase of qualifying to the World Cup, if you will. Saw 11 teams qualify from Europe over the past week. That brings it up to 39 teams heading into tonight's, heading into these final 6 games in Concacaf, including the 3 hosts. 35 teams have joined the first country to qualify, which was Japan, all the way back on March the 20th. Which 3 teams from Concacaf will be booking their tickets to the World Cup here this evening. Pinnock. Oh, King surveying the scene. As Curaçao have settled into a back 5 after the inclusion of Gari. A clean sheet for Curaçao means they will be the smallest nation ever through to the World Cup. They have a 2-on-1 along the back line. Comenencia's pass a bit off the mark. Antonesi does well. Back to Comenencia. Stutter step. Trying to get around King, who gets the block in. But at the expense of a corner kick to Curaçao. Precious seconds ticking away for Jamaica. Well, it looked promising for Curaçao there for a moment. A 2-on-1. As it broke into the Jamaican half. Comenencia's pass just leaving a bit to be desired the first time of asking, but he did well. And now a little trickeration around the corner flag as it's touched short for Locadia. Antonesi keeping it alive for Bacuna. Not cleared. Antonesi onto it. He sets it up. Obispo into the block challenge. All hands on deck for Jamaica. As it stands, it's still Jamaica into the playoff, and they will be joined by Suriname unless there's a goal in Costa Rica. Long throw into the final 5 minutes. Can Antonesi get onto it? He does for a split seconds. No foul in the eyes of the referee. Loose at the back for Jamaica. Curaçao back onto it in the attacking half. Obispo sidesteps an opponent. And too ambitious as he tried to slip that into feet for Antonesi. Jamaican crowd wants the men in yellow forward in a hurry. Lee, that's clever. Around Bacuna. Stands it up into the area for Russell. This could fall onto the post for a 3rd time. Catamarteri, nearly a Jamaican hero. He was alive, he was alert, and he was onto the loose ball in a flash. The woodwork behind Aloy Room coming to Curaçao's rescue for the 3rd time in this second half. They're hanging in there. Jamaica knocking on the door, but can't quite get through at the moment. Desperate, lunging slide tackle to take it away from Locadia. That was important for Jamaica. Hayden getting a toe to it to rescue possession back for the Reggae Boys. Dixon, watched by Comenencia. handing it off to Richards. A makeshift right back at the moment. Cephas on his heels as Pinnock delivered the pass. And we can take another look at the third time Jamaica have hit the woodwork tonight. So brave from Kata Marteri to get there in front of the goalkeeper. An inch or two further infield, that would have crashed off the post and in. Here he is on the ball once more, the 20-year-olds. Livening things up in the attack for Jamaica at the moment. Richards handing off to Russell. 5 in yellow awaits as Richards looks for room. Richards goes for glory himself. Final 2 minutes of regular time here tonight in Kingston. Curaçao can taste the World Cup at the moment. Already, the World Cup will see 3 nations making their debut next summer. Will Curaçao join the likes of Uzbekistan, Jordan, and Cape Verde? Well, that will go a long way to help. Jamaica reduced to 10 men with just minutes to go. A second yellow card for John Russell. He's sent off. And Jamaica, needing a goal, will finish the night with 10. It's heating up with the World Cup on the line in Kingston. A red card on the cusp of stoppage time means Jamaica will be shorthanded as they look for a last gasp goal to send them through to the World Cup. In on a 50-50 with Locadia, and the referee saw that as a yellow card worthy offense. Unfortunately for Russell, only mistaken identity could come to his aid. It's not a straight red. He's begging and pleading his case with the 4th official. But it's the traveling contingent from Curaçao who are starting to feel it. Around 500 fans gobbling up seats at $1,000 a head on a couple of charter flights from Curaçao here to Jamaica, making that 700-mile trip. Of course, travel in the Caribbean, not always straightforward, as Curaçao well know. Their last trip to Bermuda saw most of the team go through London, as Curaçao looked to make another change. And on his way out, Jurgen Locadia not making any friends in Jamaica. He's going to be replaced by Jordi Paulina, and he has to be careful as well, Locadia. Richard King's going to get a yellow card for ushering the Curaçao striker off the pitch. As the 21-year-olds, freshly 21 in September, Jordi Paulina comes in fresh from making his debut on Thursday. He came on at halftime as a sub in Bermuda. His first touch was to win a penalty. His second touch was to convert it. And he added a second as well, a brace on his debut. The man has come up through the ranks with Borussia Dortmund and is part of this Dutch-born recruitment drive from Dick Advocaat, who is back home in the Netherlands watching on as we are into stoppage time in Kingston. A minimum of 5 minutes added on, but we haven't seen the ball in play really over the last 3 minutes. You'd expect that number to go up. Stoppage time, Jamaica short-handed, needing a goal, or they will drop down to the Interconfederation playoff. Curaçao looking to join debutants Uzbekistan, Jordan, and Cape Verde at the World Cup next summer. Still a possible 4 other debutants alive in the playoffs: Kosovo, New Caledonia, Albania, and North Macedonia. Antonisi on as a sub in the second half, I beg your pardon. He's got fresh legs, but he couldn't keep it in play, as they will drop back into their defensive shell. A clean sheet good enough for Curaçao to make history tonight. Bouncing in towards Sambo, calmness personified as he side foots the volley into Bakuna. He tried to sting it into the path of Paulina. Perhaps not the right course of action there. Blake up the far side looking for Richards. A little too eager to get involved there was Floranis, and he's gifted a free kick late on into the night. The 10 men of Jamaica will send everybody forward here, looking for a winner at the death. Line held on the edge of the 18 by Curaçao. Richards to clip it forward into the area for Jamaica. Instead, he hands it off to Blake and will make his way to the edge of the 18. Richards on the corner of the box. Into the area he goes. Touch. It's a penalty. A penalty in the last minute of stoppage time for Jamaica. From the spot, a chance to send Jamaica to the World Cup. Curaçao begging for a VAR reprieve. They took the free kick shorts to give Richards a one-on-one with Antonisi. Did he get ball? Did he get man? Well, VAR will be taking a look. The referee was just a few yards away as the National Stadium erupts in Kingston to the sound of the referee's whistle. And as the center official, Yvonne Barton, pointed to the spot, a penalty to decide who goes to the World Cup, or will there be VAR in the ear of Yvonne Barton? It's Alan Chapman, the American official, who's in charge of the VAR here tonight. And he's called over the man from El Salvador to have a look at the coming together he deemed worthy of a penalty. Now, there is the gray area in the rules, of course. This was given as a penalty on the pitch. It's waved off. No penalty after all. A ball-winning challenge from Antonisi. And now a yellow card as they've come out onto the pitch. Members of the Curaçao bench. I believe that was Godfried Rumarato who was shown the yellow card. And this is where the rule does have that little bit of gray area that is really unfortunate around the world of football. Had he gotten this decision spot on in live action, it would be a corner to Jamaica. Instead, from VAR, it'll be given as a drop ball. The referee's conferring, as Jamaica was saying the clear touch took it out off the field of play, and they feel they should have a corner. And perhaps when it's all said and done, justice done there, as it was A ball-winning challenge from Jeremy Antonisi. Initially deemed a penalty, instead given as a corner. Surely the final act in the drama here tonight. Andre Blake, the goalkeeper, is up. Richards to deliver. Swinging it in towards the edge of the 6. Off the head of Cephas. Still it's with Jamaica. World Cup hopes hanging in the balance. Into the area goes. Backward header, room, claims for Curaçao. We're well beyond the 5 minutes, but hardly any of that 5 minutes has been actually played out onto the pitch. We're going to go deep into the night in Kingston. The 10 men of Jamaica looking for a last gasp winner. Curaçao trying to kill the clock. Antonisi. Can he take it to the corner flag? Richards rips it off his toe. Loose, the back pass, but so too was the challenge from Paulina as he's in, fouling Lee. Blake and Jamaica in a hurry. Was that ball still rolling? Blake getting it forward. King eludes the Paulina challenge. Intercepted by Curaçao. Blake is out of his area. Touch around the goalkeeper. The foot race is on, and Blake's fast enough to get there, but Bacuna still there to win it. Hoofed towards goal by Coleman-Ancia. Jamaica scramble back defensively. It's Bacuna leaving it for Antonisi. A frenetic finish. It goes wide from Antonisi. But Curaçao just want to hear the full-time whistle ring out in Kingston. Nearly doubling the initial allotment of 5 additional minutes. Richards looked like he had the run. Wonderful recovery for Curaçao. Everybody in blue up off the bench. One back by Jamaica. King towards the near side for Cephas. Is there a Jamaican hero in Kingston tonight? Sambo goes to ground and gets the challenge away. Into or past 100 minutes gone. One final hurl from a long throw. Ethan Pinnock drives the ball off. 7 Jamaican players in and around the area. Catapults in for the long throw, back from whence it came. Pinnock settles on the bounce, hoofs it high into the sky, into the area. Obispo gets the header out. Curaçao have done it! A blue wave is heading to the World Cup! For the first time in their history, Curaçao are World Cup bound. They will become the smallest nation ever to take part in a men's World Cup. It ends 0-0 in Kingston. A result that will resound in Curaçaoan history. Celebrations will be erupting back in Willemstad. And indeed, the traveling contingent in blue going crazy in Kingston tonight. Jamaica drop into the Interconfederation playoffs. They'll have to wait to March to see if they will be through to the United States, Mexico, and Canada next summer. Curaçaoans can start looking at their dream vacation. Full time from the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. It ends Jamaica 0, Curaçao 0. Curaçao through to the World Cup. Well, they did it in extenuating travel circumstances. They did it without their coach, Dick Advocaat, who's back in the Netherlands with a family issue, having left the team just on Saturday following their fantastic victory away in Bermuda. But his players did the job here tonight, as they have done throughout his tenure. An unbeaten qualifying cycle for Curaçao. Eight wins, 2 draws, without a loss. 28 goals scored, just 5 conceded, as they ran through their Concacaf path to the World Cup. The results did go the way of Jamaica in the other groups, which means they still do have hope. But their dreams of a World Cup crushed here tonight in front of their home fans. It might have been crushed in the 85th minute last Thursday in Trinidad and Tobago. The blue wave of celebrations has now carried out onto the pitch here in Kingston, Jamaica. This is what these players have been dreaming of all their lives. What a night for Curaçao. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights from Jamaica. First half here in Kingston between Jamaica and Curaçao, the host nation needing a victory to leapfrog their visitors into top spot in the group on the final day. And they nearly had that go-ahead goal early on in the match. Really their only chance of the first half of any note. So ricochet off the effort from Nicholson fell to Bobby Reed. The flag went up, but it appeared he was onside. Had he rifled that into the back of the net, it would have been Jamaica 1-0 to the good. Another fortuitous bounce fell in the path this time of Nicholson, but he couldn't quite guide his effort on frame. As Curaçao were mostly hitting on the counter in the first half, but were close from a quickly taken free kick. Jurgen Locadia saw his laser stopped by Andre Blake. Into the second half we go, where Jamaica hit the woodwork 3 times. They were that close to knotting themselves in front. First, it was a long throw, and off the head of Greg Lee, off the post and away, as Curaçao were digging in defensively, knowing a clean sheet would be good enough on the night. And then Lembikisa combining with the sub John Russell and leading to the second Jamaican strike off the woodwork. A leap from Nicholson at the back stick, but his header glanced off the woodwork, off the crossbar and out. Curaçao did see some chances late on, and in fact put one in the back of the net. They thought they were going through at the moment, but Antonisi was offside, as Jamaica had to send numbers forward late on searching for the goal. Curaçao started to see a few more opportunities at the Jamaican back line. And then just a few minutes from full time, the third Jamaican efforts off the frame of goal. Russell won the header, won the knockdown for Bailey Catamarteri. Couldn't guide his header in off the post. And then just before the 90 minutes were up, a second yellow card shown to the second half sub, John Russell. That meant Jamaica were down to 10 men for stoppage time. Deep into stoppage time, they thought they had a penalty and a chance from the spot to send Jamaica to the World Cup finals. The referee pointed to the spot in real time. Loudest that the stadium got all evening, but VAR called him to the monitor where he had a second look and saw it was a clean ball-winning challenge from Antonesi. Penalty waved off. Jamaica's hopes dashed. Late on, Antonesi could have wrapped it up for Curaçao, but they didn't need the goal in the end. A clean sheet for Curaçao. The Blue Wave to the World Cup. As we can take a look at the full-time stats from Kingston tonight's 12 shots, but just one on target for Jamaica, which will haunt the Reggae Boys all the way to March. They finished with 10 men after the sending off of John Russell. And what that meant was this: the final standings in Group B in Concacaf qualifying for the World Cup. Curaçao finish atop the group, 12 points in their unbeaten World Cup qualifying campaign. They will be the smallest nation ever into the Men's World Cup. Jamaica into the Interconfederation playoff in March. We thank you for watching. Have a good night. It ends 0-0 in Kingston.